have vocal technical difficulties. There's one person here, and so guys, I'm losing my voice because it's really hot here, and then it gets really cold, and then I turn on the AC, and then it gets really hot again, and then it gets really cold again. So I keep losing my voice. Okay, let's hope people get notification, and I haven't slept, which is why my look is like this.
I'll keep this on for the first minute or so.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Sam is actually live on his Instagram.
About it.
I'm just gonna wait for, there's one person in here, and I want this person, no pressure, to confirm that audio is good. You know, this is also the first time that I was able to go live, like landscape, because it always gave me an error. Jaren! It's Jaren!
Hey, Jaren. About it.
Now we have 4 people. Okay, let's give people a couple of seconds. And then let's move people from here to here.
I can have mine live for the first, let's say, 5-10 minutes. So
Perfect.
this becomes a preview.
Love it.
Awesome.
And then I'll share it too. Barev, Jaren. Sam is out of the frame. We have 5 people. Who do we have here? 6. Oh, it says, man, I miss you guys a lot. It's Jaren.
Bad cheeks.
I think people miss our lives,
I think so too.
which is why now yay, 1% liked the video. Guys, like the video until more people join. So you're my second live interview person, and the first one was obviously Adam.
That should be his account name. When he gets shadow banned again, obviously Adam.
Obviously Adam. Tatya, how are you? Now we have 3 people who like this. So guys, just a quick heads up. This was supposed to be a live about talking about repatriating to Armenia. That was supposed to be yesterday, and then there was a lot of technical issues which happened again today, which is why I created a new link. And then I'm so glad Sam is here, so we're gonna talk about Sam and his life and co-op and everything he's doing here. Well, you don't have to tell them everything. You can have like boundaries and privacy. It's fine.
Not every second.
Not every second.
Speaking of privacy, do you hear the person like grunting and moaning from sprinting up Cascade?
It's only with Sam that these words will be used in the first 2
That's
seconds
true.
of the video. If you guys remember, we've done a live together on Instagram that went on for like 2 hours and a half, I remember. And I'm like, okay, it's getting really late. Okay, you're very uncomfortable.
No, I'm chilling. I just want to
Tired.
make sure I'm in both frames.
Oh yeah, okay. We got this. Okay. So since we have 6 people, 2 people already left, we'll just start talking, I guess. And while you guys, while you're here, you can ask us questions too. Like last time when we were talking with Adam, we talked a lot about, this was his second time in Armenia. He came here, like his emotions, what is he here for, and all of that. I know you've been here
20.
countless amount of times. Does this feel any different? You were here last, like a month ago, right? Or 2 months ago?
I was here about 2.5. Well, yeah, I was here. The last time I was here was March, and it's July.
15, 16, we're not sure. It's 7 a.m.
It's mid-July.
It's mid-July.
And yeah, I guess every time it's a little bit different. The first time I went back since the war was Christmas Eve, and it was interesting to see people like living their lives because, as a diasporan, you don't see the nuance.
Yeah.
Even if you know a lot of people in Armenia, you don't see the nuance. All you see is the headlines, and of course at that time it's all, just the negative news about like border skirmishes, POWs, all these kind of things.
Yeah.
So you assume that everyone here is as angry and furious as you are. And then you get here and people are working, you see families just, having dinner, and you're like, the first second you see, and people write about this on Instagram, and it's not appropriate, but or on all social media, they say things like, how dare they, like, oh, I guess everything's fine now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, that's not how this works. People have lives to live, and what better way to actually lose everything than to just stop everything?
Yep.
No work, no celebrations of life, no celebrations of our culture, no celebrations of anything. And it's a tough pill to swallow, but people in Armenia seem very much to be fully immersed in their lives.
Yeah.
And that's what they should be doing. They should be producing their economy. They should be working on the millions of different things that we do to make Armenia have a GDP, continue its unique culture, continue its unique development, and all of these things.
Yep. I think it's interesting you say that, because even when we post something on Instagram like about a new business that opened up or something, that we get that kind of feedbacks like, why are we not talking about the sad things only? And then what I kind of always try to say is like, if we each pick our strength, and if my strength is not politics, my strength is, let's say, supporting businesses, then let me continue focusing on that, because these businesses also need to survive, and that describes, like, we need to be that bridge that kind of covers that. Did you find anything different coming this time than last time, or do you find that, like, what's the emotion when you go back and then you get back into that social media, like being connected with Armenia through social media and then coming back here and being here in person, like, well, emotion wise?
Well, first of all, you said, maybe you're a supporter of businesses, and I want to cut out that maybe and say definitely you're an amazing supporter of businesses. And I hope every single person knows the work you do is phenomenal. I mean, you employ a bunch of people. I know you don't want me to talk about you too much, but you employ about a dozen people, half of them in Armenia, all of them Armenians, and create some really, really awesome stuff, including what I'm wearing. Then I know you weren't expecting me to be wearing this.
Plug.
A Superman but high shirt. In terms of the emotion and like how it sort of operates, I guess the difference, the way I can compare it is when I'm in New York, which is where I live, and I'm posting about Armenia, I'm posting it for Odar's Armenians who aren't really very much connected with Armenia. And when I'm here, I'm posting it for Armenians who are connected with Armenia.
Interesting. Okay.
So in both senses, I think I'm always trying to provide a bridge, and what I'm trying to show can vary. Obviously, it depends on what's happening in Armenia. But when I'm here, I'm trying to show the daily life. I'm trying to show the beauty that you can't really, as a diaspora, no matter how many times you visit or how long you visit, you don't really ever take the beauty of this country for granted. I don't think I've been to the Smart Center up in Lodi, I don't know how many times. It's a 2 hour and change trip from Yerevan up there, and maybe 2 hours and 30 minutes if you stop at Aparan and Sevan and all these beautiful places. But like, just everything, it's just so insanely beautiful. And that's something to capture. I don't think I would capture that as much if I was, back home focusing on the sort of the exclamatory headlines that are mostly political.
And let's talk about that, because Jarin actually asked, he said he hasn't been on Instagram much, and he said, what's your next project? But I also, because I have a bit of a different audience on YouTube too, I want people to know who you are. So when you're saying headlines and stuff, you were also that guy for me that I would go to, like, you would make all these posters and like the Instagram campaigns and the advocacy of things. And then here, like you were saying, like, you're more on the grounds and you're going to the center and like you're connecting in a different completely way. Do you want to tell people a little bit of what you do and also Co-op for those who don't know you on YouTube? And then obviously this will be saved so they can watch it later too.
Sure. I guess I'll try and be as brief as possible. So my family started Co-op back in 2003. Co-op is the Children of Armenia Fund. It was, at first going into one village, refurbishing a school based on the village's desires, based on the village's resources. We took I'm using this as a map, local carpenters, local glassmakers, road pavers, and they're the ones that rebuilt the school, which gave an economy to this village. And the neighboring village, a bit larger, said, like, what were our sins? Why didn't you choose us? So we did that same tailor-made approach. We, did the fundraising.
Yep.
Fundraising was mostly a collaboration between large entities like HSBC and, diasporans and non-Armenians and Armenians here as well. Funding, so we would raise, $1 million, $2 million in a year, which obviously over the years we got even better, and we earned our credibility. And now Co-op works in 64 villages with 107,000 people, with some projects that vary, but mostly rooted in education. So we've rebuilt pipelines that gave water to thousands of families, clean drinking water to thousands of families. And also in that same year, we increased the crop yield by one of the villages 16 times over, which means essentially their economy increased 16 times. That's not to mention the schools that we refurbished or the hospitals. So that's what the Children of Armenia Fund is, and I'm sort of a behind-the-scenes person for Co-op in terms of like shuttling people to the villages and to the Smart Center whenever I'm here, designing campaigns, a bunch of random things, networking events. So that's kind of what I've been tasked with Co-op.
Jaren just asked if people can volunteer for Co-op or how can they get involved. And I'll also include the link for Co-op in the description of this video when I save it. But
that's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, we always have volunteers, and there's always things to do in Armenia, especially today. You know, I would say reach out to the Co-op team. Be honest about your capabilities, your intentions.
Yep.
Don't think of yourself as, you know, ill-equipped considering how much Co-op has done, because that's not how these things work. It's a group of people who are, you know, testing things, and if it works, you keep moving. If it doesn't work, you accept that it doesn't work and you move to the next thing. And you know, that's how a lot of these things work. I mean, I was with Haiku today, earlier today, and
we haven't slept.
at like 1 a.m. and we were talking about Okni and, like, you know, designing prosthetics to give to people
Yep.
who, you know, have lost limbs. And you know, she didn't study prosthetics or anything. She was a clinical psychologist, but with a team of people who are, one, very intelligent and intuitive, but two, that very much care about accomplishing the goal. And if you make a misstep, you learn what worked in that misstep, and you keep moving. Jiren, to answer your question directly, I would say reach out to Co-op. You can reach out to them on Instagram at Co-op Kids or Facebook, or you can email them. That their email and all the different contact informations are on their website, which is coop.org or coopkids.org.
And I will put it in the description. For the people who are on Instagram, I see Rich. Hi, Rich.
Welcome home, Rich.
Welcome home.
He just landed here.
Nice. Hey, I was saying when I messaged him the other day when he was doing live. Now we're just chatting. He told me that he's coming. Welcome. Come to Cascade. Join us. When are you to? Where are you? We're at Cascade. We're on the second thing of Cascade. Yeah, just come if you can make it in the next 5 minutes. So Jaren's saying thank you so much for answering. And then other than that, where can people find you? Should people find you, follow you? And why, like, because of all the also work that you do, you're kind of like the person that's like the glue to how you connected all of us after your lives. We've talked a little bit about the lives with Adam, but also like tell them, because I know you put so many hours into that. And that's why I feel like people should follow you, because you connect all of us. You literally created a community, basically.
I think I really don't like too much discussing, like, you know, what someone would call accomplishments or positive skills about myself, but I will say that many people have described me as a nexus, as a connector.
Yeah, an agent.
An agent. I've been given all these titles.
Yeah.
Before the end of the war, I was with, I organized a team of 32 people behind the scenes, entirely behind the scenes, to produce media about the war, about the truth of the dictatorship of Azerbaijan. It was a team of 32 people. I did that for a few months, and everything, coordinating the emails, and to make this media translate into 10 languages. So it was, you know, English, Spanish, French, Italian, Portuguese, Arabic, Mandarin, Hindi, Turkish, and Russian.
Wow.
And you know, we made a lot of stuff, and it was tough to coordinate 32 people because you know, we needed these things immediately. It was a lot of media. That was the first leg. The second leg was to start doing Instagram lives. I mean, I think I was probably influenced by the Guardian Eagles, by Agnes, and her work was fantastic with helping wounded soldiers receive aid. And I was like, wow, like I can do this for a bunch of things. So I think on November 6th, I reached out to 8 of my friends around the world. Then November 7th, another 8. And then basically, for maybe 4 months, I interviewed 142 people. Yeah, it is insane.
So think about the numbers and the impact.
My favorite thing about it was the connection, because like I remember in one of the lives, these 2 girls, Nicole and Karin, uh, both half Armenians, you know, that are approximately 300% Armenian each. Um, and they didn't know each other. One is half Armenian, half Lithuanian. I don't remember where she lives, but I believe it was like Prague or something of that sort. Um, and Karin is half Armenian, half black, from Los Angeles. And maybe a day or two later, I saw that they were alive. They had never met each
In
other.
Austria.
Yeah,
And she's actually coming, I think, next week.
yeah.
Or next month.
Well, Nicole's coming very soon.
Yeah.
That I know. Yeah. And then like a week, sorry, a few days later, they were on an Instagram live. I saw the notification. They were both live. I was like, oh, what a coincidence. And they were live with each other. Sorry, there's a puppy.
Parabéns.
Hi, puppy. Oh my God, be my friend. So I saw that they were live and they were fundraising for Co-op, and I was like, they didn't really know about Co-op, not really, not too much before, and you know they didn't know each other, and now they are doing their own thing. Like, and I was like, that's what it is, the snowball effect. It's not,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, and sorry, but it's like, you know, Gestalt psychology. It's like the sum is greater than the individual pieces
Yeah.
combined. 2 and 2 is not equaling 4 in these kind of things. There's an alchemy that comes out of these connections. And as someone who's had the privilege, huge privilege, of connecting so many people, and you know, I try and background myself because I want them to flex their individual capabilities.
Yep.
It's the most magical thing in the world to see that what they can produce together.
Yeah, well, I've met, I'm like thinking about the number of people I met through your lives, and it's a lot. Like, I remember when I was going live, I think I was going like 4th or 5th. So, you know, obviously I'm joining from the beginning, and I'm kind of like watching all these other people talk about it. I'm like, wow, I didn't even know this person on the other side of the world was working on this project, and now we can like work together, and the number of connections. And something we've said on the previous live is that my favorite part of coming to Armenia is like actually now putting the faces to these names.
Right.
So you and I like met for the first time actually physically like last week, which is insane because I feel like I know you for the longest time ever. Same with Adam, same with Haiguhi and like all these people, and now we'll meet Rich whenever.
And even more to that point, I mean, like especially bad moments. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about this particular component, but like, you know, I'm very again as someone who thrives on unity. The dividers, the excluders, the people who feel that, you know, if you're 92.5% Armenian, that you're not Armenian, or if you're Jewish Armenian or Black Armenian. Yep. Or gay Armenian, or anything that doesn't fit a very, very nuanced, like hyper conservative, not fully. First of all, Armenia's history is way beyond that.
Yeah.
Predates Christianity by as far back as Christianity is to us at this moment. There's people who are like, oh, don't support this one person or this one initiative, even though the initiative aligns with them. They don't like that someone doesn't fit that role. When I was arguing with like 3 or 4 of them at one point, and you know, their arguments are not always logical. You know, they say certain things that are just so racist, sexist, homophobic, whatever these things are. And you look at them and you're like you're making us lose. You're making us lose in these important ways. And I remember you were one of the people I spoke to about this. And you know, we hadn't met. It would be 6 months later that we would actually meet. 7 months. This was in December. I remember the conversation well. And I was like on the verge of tears. And I was so angry. I was like even with a clear common enemy, we still bicker with each other. It's nonsensical. But I would speak to you, and then you would give me your version. I'd be like, okay, I'm upset that this awesome person is upset, but I feel a sense of calm and like validation that this person who's doing, in my opinion, even more than me, is also facing this kind of thing. And such a nice person like you too.
Thank you. I remember the number of times I would call you because I'm like really, really drained because of a conversation that I'm having or someone, you know, kind of attacking me on a certain point they don't agree with. And then by just talking to a number of times, like we did like Zoom calls just because we all needed to feel that I'm not alone going through this, even when you think that, because at one point it gets to you, you start thinking like, am I doing something wrong? Am I, you know, really going against the grain here? But if you realize there's a lot of change makers and people that are trying, like we woke up and slept and we still do, trying to think of ways to bring us together from around the world. And now we're all kind of meeting in this homeland, and we're all so different in so many beautiful ways, and then that makes us us, and that makes us stronger because we do have those different I guess like strengths and weaknesses, and then we complement each other in that way.
Exactly.
And I think that's like my big thing, is because I feel that a lot of times when people start posting about their experience of coming to Armenia, they want their experience, let's say, to look like what others have showcased. Like, let's say if you come to Armenia and I come 2 weeks after you, I'm thinking like that's what mine should like, my experience should look like, and otherwise it's missing or it's not right. But like, embrace the fact that we're all gonna have different experiences when we come to Armenia. One person will do something, and then the other person will do the other thing, and
You should go where your drive takes you.
exactly.
Because that's, if you go where your drive takes you, you'll find yourself, when challenged, doing things intuitively and perhaps better than some people would do if it wasn't their natural drive. Even if they put a good amount of thought into it, they wouldn't do it perhaps as masterfully as you would, with less energy. And we're very few. There's 12 million of us.
Yeah.
We ought to maximize our efficacy, and that requires doing it our way. It doesn't mean, by the way, if me and Patil are going in these two different directions, that we can't unify on certain initiatives. In fact, it means that we should know that if I'm going here and you're going here, there's a lot of mutual space that we're going in. We can complement each other.
Exactly.
And we ought to. We deserve to. It'll be the best way to give back. And if our genuine intention is to help Armenia, then we should be thinking in that sort of way. Me alone, you alone, we only have ourselves individually, but together we have so much more for each other.
Or if you and I are very much identical in the things we're doing or the way we're doing things, then also that makes us be like we're just focusing on one thing. So, like I could be walking here and I'm seeing one thing, but then walking on Cascade, maybe every day you see something different and something else catches your attention, and you realize like, okay, in this area we need to focus and we need to do something to make this better.
Right.
And that's why it's so beautiful. Like I would be talking to people, like when you were mentioning Haigui's example. Shout out to Haigui. I don't know if she's watching. She's probably sleeping.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Haikui.
So like you're mentioning that example because you realize here is that maybe you even have strengths that you didn't even know you had by just kind of being open-minded and open-hearted and allowing yourself to listen to what other people are doing, and observing and building this like two-way relationship that's not just based on your lens, but it's kind of allowing yourself to see Armenia through the lens of others, and Armenia not just like the country but like the community, the entire community.
And you know who's done that, who's helped me the best with that, are the people who are unifiers. So I would put you both chronologically and like how much I how close I am to them. I would put you as the number one. Because when I go on your blog and see all the different companies that you're highlighting, when I go on your Instagram and see how many people you're interviewing and platforming, I'm like, this is awesome. This is what we should be doing. But there's other entities that have really amazed me, like United IO. I had both United IO and Buy Armenian on in my first Instagram Live in a while. I'm starting a whole new series called Armenian Excellency, and they were on the first one. And they did amazingly. They were both talking about all the different initiatives that they're partnering with and why it's important to be partnering with. United IO, just very quickly, am I allowed to plug
Of course, plug away.
United IO is basically a collaboration of 30 plus initiatives, including COAF, including AGBU, including ISA, the Armenian Engineers and Scientists of America. And their goal is basically to centralize all these different projects, put them in one area so people can see them, and perhaps help with fundraising, definitely help with exposure, help with fundraising, all these things. United IO is one of the best things. It's literally a dream made into reality. And Buy Armenian is this like the same exact initiative, but now towards Armenian businesses. So clothing and art, like art, all sorts of different things. I'm actually one of the next ones I'm going to do is going to include Armenian businesses like car shops and things of that sort. But that's coming up. That's coming up soon.
That's actually a great segue to also answer Jaren's question. So tell us about Armenian Excellency. Is that what you called it? Tell us about that. Or do you know when is it starting? What will it like? Will it look like the 4-hour lives? What would it look like?
So it'll probably be 2 at a time. I shouldn't. I don't know if I can keep doing these eight people.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Especially with like the we'll say brain drain or that's an actual political term. I'll say my own sort of like mental health, sort of juggling a bunch of things, again behind the scenes. But it started about 2 weeks ago, and I'm probably going to be doing it, once every 2 weeks. Two people, have them on for 30 minutes or plus, and have them express what they're doing, why it's important, who they are, obviously, and hopefully this continues that sort of the unity. I know that the Buy Armenian and United IO, some of their networks added onto each other, and now they know about each other, and that's
perfect.
amazing. Like, that's exactly what I wanted.
Perfect. And this is all gonna happen on your Instagram, right?
On my Instagram Live.
So plug in your Instagram handle.
Well, unless I get shadow banned again, or my account almost deleted.
Oh God.
It's Samadeus, like Amadeus, but with an S. Samadeus dot D dot Arnokyan, Arnoqyan. It was originally Ink Viridian, but there's been many of me now. It's funny, you hear about like Adam. It was like Adam Bowen, and then it was Adam like underscore Bowen, double underscore. It's like our friend Jumbo. Yeah, exactly. But how many underscores is he gonna get? Our friend Zara just keeps adding Z's to hers.
Oh God. So then you know how many times she's been shadow banned or her account has been deleted because we've been targeted. And that's one of the main reasons I started putting my interviews and stuff on YouTube. And I know you've done
Speaking of which, so your YouTube channel, it's kind of new. Before I turn off mine and encourage people to go on yours,
yes.
Do you want to plug it one more time?
Yes, please. So if you guys just search on YouTube Patil Tutunjian, which is Patil, and then like space Tounjian, and please subscribe and like the videos and watch them and share them. So basically what I've been doing is just kind of like doing daily vlogs in Armenia and promoting like whether it's businesses or activities or like wineries or cultural things. So just to kind of create this positive awareness about what to do in Armenia and have the different kind of perspective of what, like the non-traditional touristic things that like people don't think about when they're coming to Armenia. So
right.
Please subscribe and come to the YouTube now because, that's where this interview is happening.
And again, Patil Tutunjian on YouTube.
On YouTube.
And give you guys one more view.
This is him plugging me on Instagram. That's what was happening. Or talking to two devices, two platforms. But I think that's the important thing because we had to start kind of what's the saying? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like, because our accounts kept getting, what is the time in Armenia? It's 7:30 now, 7:30 a.m. Tomorrow, like the next day. We're Friday, 7 a.m. in Armenia, 7:30 a.m. So yeah, like our Instagram accounts have been getting attacked, reported. Bots have been also, attacking it. So basically it's getting shadow banned by Instagram or even deleted. So I basically started taking the interviews I was doing on Instagram and putting them on YouTube, which I know nothing about, editing and stuff. So I learned because I thought it would be more secure to have all those kind of like archive, like the digital archive of interviews here. And then when I came to Armenia, I thought to take it to the next level and just basically start vlogging, which again I have no idea how to do, but I'm doing, and you guys are super supportive. Hi Levon from Australia. It is early here, yes.
Thanks. Definitely early.
Definitely early. I haven't slept. He barely slept, maybe like
3 hours.
3 hours, which I would argue that it's harder to like sleep and wake up than just kind of stay up. So,
yeah.
But we're doing this at this time just because, people in LA and then Eastern Standard Time. I don't know how these things work. Pacific Standard Time can join us, and it will be, that's why I'm slurring my words. It's like really hard to talk at this time. But yes, definitely. I'm going to also include his Instagram link in the description of this video. So definitely follow him so you can keep up with this new project that you're literally starting from nothing, which is awesome. And also Co-op's link. Anything else that you want to tell people before we go and try to get some rest?
I think there's plenty still to say, of course. I would say, even if you don't necessarily know what you want to do or accomplish, even if you don't feel like you have a full map or even a crystal clear step one or step two or whatever, come to Armenia. Come to Armenia. It will answer so many more questions. You go on Clubhouse and you have some people who, you know, at first glance, it's like lunatic raving about all these different things that they're feeling, and the anger. But when you come here, you see the nuance.
Yep.
You see the specificity of things. And I'm not just talking about Yerevan. Wherever you go, you see the nuance. You know, our friends, you know, went to Tavush and were working with delivering goods to 24 families. That was Armenian Unity Project, which everyone should follow. And you know, there's so much work to do. Instead of, you know, I don't want to curse. Instead of bickering, and squabbling, get to use that word.
Love that. Okay.
Like, either come to Armenia or find initiatives. You know, ask me. Like, literally ask me. You know, where can I go for Armenians who are doing a legal project? Where can I do with like a project that involves dogs, or anything, or psychology, or dogs and psychology? That would be Oknushun, by the way.
Yes.
But there's plenty of different initiatives here, and you know, being someone who's connecting to all of them consciously, trying very hard to connect with all of them myself, just to know what's going on and how I can help and who I can connect them to. I very much request that you come to Armenia, be it a week, be it a few days, and if you can't come to Armenia and you don't want to be left out, ask people who know people and initiatives. Tell us what you do. Tell us what you like. Tell us, you know, if I want someone to start learning, you know, vocabulary and stuff, I ask them questions, and then I try and think of what book would they read if I just put in front of them.
Yeah.
Literally put it down in front of them. Which book I wouldn't have to ask them to read. It's the same thing. You know, what are the things that I wouldn't have to ask anyone, or no one would have to ask you to join? You would wake up with the first thought, being like, I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to work on this.
Yeah.
You know, just ask, or if you already know, pull the trigger. Like, do it. Ask them. No initiative is going to be like, oh, we don't want you. The worst
We don't need help.
yeah, who would possibly say that? Like, the worst, even if they're doing a phenomenal job, it's always good to have the support. The worst case scenario is perhaps they, at this particular moment, have too many volunteers, or they are too busy doing whatever push or scrum or campaign that they don't respond to you for a week or so. But message again, like, I've, you know, you see my Instagram DMs, like, I'm never upset by it. Some people will write, like, I know you must be really busy. It's okay. Like, let's talk. Like, it's okay.
Someone just asked a question, and I really want your perspective on this. They're saying, how much fun will I be made of for my broken Western Armenian? Which I've kind of answered this before in my videos, but what do you think for people who don't speak Armenian, like that they're scared to come here because they don't speak the language or they speak a different dialect? What's your experience been like?
Well, contrary to what people who don't know me think, I don't speak Armenian. I speak very, very little Armenian, and it's such a sort of a broken collage of Eastern and Western, and you know, because I was raised by a Bolsahai community, there's like Turkish words I didn't know were Turkish. I always thought were Armenian. So, you know, as I would rather people, you know, make like I've really not gotten made fun of. People will like correct me, but I'm not the type of person who's like why are you correcting me in front of everyone? I'm like, oh, dope. Like, I've been saying that wrong the whole time. I haven't really been made fun of. I can't speak for anyone else. I've been jested by my friends who speak Armenian fluently and beautifully, but they do it, I think, to encourage me to learn the language better. I used to speak Armenian fluently. Yes, Gyumri. I was from Gyumri, but I'm adopted from Gyumri, and I know now, after studying a lot of psychology, that there's a place in my mind that the Armenian language is associated with, which is not a very happy time. And learning English was basically tied to like having a family and security and all these things. So learning Armenian is a little bit more difficult for me for quite a few reasons. But I swear to myself that I will learn the language and that I will be as, if not more, eloquent in Armenian than I am in English.
I love that, and I think, kind of coming from a point of view of like, don't create barriers to not go. Like when I was telling people that I'm coming to Armenia, I'm just gonna try to read this. You do an incredible. Someone was complimenting you, but I missed the comment because they disappear on YouTube.
Complimenting me or
yeah.
you?
I think you.
No, you.
Why would people compliment me? Oh.
No, you're the greatest.
I think when last time I was telling people that I'm coming back to Armenia because I lived here for a year and a half and then I went back and then COVID happened, so I got stuck there for a year. And then every time I was telling someone, oh, I'm going back to Armenia, they were like, again, why? And I'm like, stop looking for reasons to go to Armenia. Look for opportunities to go to Armenia, because you don't need to be like, this is why I'm going to Armenia and I'm going to do this, and like, have a plan if you want to have a plan. But like you were saying before, like even if you're not sure why you're coming,
yeah.
But look for opportunities. Don't look for reasons in a way. Like don't, so it's.
There's too many reasons to come here.
Exactly. It's like.
Yeah, I was, and I'm supposed to be recovering right now. I had basically a brain injury, and like, the procedures and all this stuff. And they told me like, make sure you relax, take it easy, they actually said, have a boring life for the next few months. And I looked at them knowing that I had a flight for Armenia in 72 hours.
Literally, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, okay. So lots of sleep. Okay,
oh,
okay,
yeah. You got
and
on a plane.
Yeah, so I got on a plane. I didn't drink on the plane. I'm proud of myself for that. But except for a few shots, but that doesn't count. No, I'm kidding. But I've been in Armenia. I've been kind of running around a bit. I've broken almost every rule that the doctors have told me, and I'm still recovering quite quickly. And I think it's because my stress level altogether is at an all-time low, honestly, being here. No matter how much there is to do, or how many people you're surrounded by, or if you do have a glass of wine or two, or 10, not me, but whoever is there and partying, there's something deeply rejuvenating about being here. And I said this to complete non-Armenians who are here as a I don't know what it was basically like a volunteer network. I can't remember what it was called. I don't want to say it incorrectly. I was talking to them about this, and they were like, we feel the same way. And I was like, stop, you're just being nice. And they're like, no, there's something about this place.
Yeah.
And they keep extending their stays here. Just because there genuinely is something majestic about being in Armenia. Maybe it's the mountains, maybe it's the people, and can I, very quickly, just to talk about the people here, you can see this on my Instagram. I was literally in the backseat of a car that was way too packed with people as we were going to go to this thing called Beauty by Soldiers, just soldiers creating these beautiful exhibits with butterflies, and you can purchase them, and it's amazing and it's phenomenal. The soldiers are like, these are all veterans
Wow.
who have been physically damaged, and are just the most charming people in the world. We were on the way there, and this guy, his car is kind of close to ours, and I'm just looking. It looks like a cool dude. I don't know why. He was like kind of like a ginger with like a beard and everything. So I just like look over, and I go like, Barev John, and like the lowest register I could. He looks at me, smiles, reaches, and offers cookies.
I saw that actually. I saw that on your Instagram. Definitely check it out.
I took candy from a stranger. But is that not the most like dadik, like that's part of Armenia's spirit? Like,
yeah.
Like people want to feed you. You go to like part of Birthright and AGBU's YSIP, the Yerevan State Internship Program. We had this like scavenger hunting, which involved activities, and one of them we looked at it, and as diasporans who hadn't really pushed the envelope in terms of being in Armenia, we were like, this is impossible. It was number 10 on that list. It was be invited to someone's house.
Yeah.
And we were like, what the hell? Like, how do you get invited? it took 2 tries. The first one, there was a woman all alone, and we were like 3 guys,
Yeah.
and like 4 girls, and she just looked and she was like, I'm sorry, I'm busy, and we
Yeah.
were like, okay. Literally the next door, old man opens. We explained to him what we're doing. He goes, "Harametsek," like come. He opens the
I'm
door.
gonna feed you.
He's asking what we do. I said, I'm a writer. And he's like, and he like gets this golden, literally, it's like a gold-plated book of poetry in Armenian. And I had my friends translate it line by line. It's not how you read poetry, but it was just beautiful. It was beautiful to be so well received by a total stranger. And it's not because, it's not because we're Armenian or anything. It was just because there's this benevolent, you know, what's the word? Hospitality.
Yeah.
That's deep in our soul.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because of the death marches from 1915 to 1921 that we always look for a hungry belly to feed, or a sad face to brighten. But you get that vibe here. People are like, oh, it's definitely so like Soviet. Everyone's so like, it's like on the outside, maybe someone walks by, they don't really like, they're not like beaming and like jingling change and stuff, but they might not look approachable. You talk to people here, it's very, very positive I would say for the most part, like way more than in New York by
Absolutely.
by a lot.
Yeah, like to your point, we used to do that at Birthright. Like we would put the volunteers in groups, and we would give each group one bottle of wine, and we would say, go knock on a door and get invited to their house. And every single volunteer, always, they say this is their favorite part of anything, because they get invited to these homes, and they actually, oh god, the comments are disappearing. They would get access to these stories of people, and each one they would then come back, and we would ask one person from each group to come up and tell the story that they've heard in that home. And that, I think, in my opinion, is one of the greatest ways of kind of breaking the barriers between the international community that we have, and being really integrated into and like immersing ourselves here. And then people ask me like how I started Dadik Streetwear, and it's because I lived here for a year and a half, and I experienced that. And when I went back, I couldn't imagine being in Canada and not having somehow bringing a little piece of, literally like less than 1% of that type of mentality into my day-to-day life. And to your point earlier, like, choose a project that you wake up to, that you want, like you're excited to wake up to, and like
That you wake up for.
That you wake up for, exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let me ask you, how did the volunteers act before they did it?
So
when they
nervous.
saw that list?
Oh my
item?
god. Because the thing is, also we had, like, we tried to put at least one Armenian speaking person in each group, but sometimes it's difficult, and it always worked out. Like, even when they didn't speak Armenian, I would say like 5 people a group or so, and they would literally just like from everywhere, some of them even non-Armenians, from France, from Germany, they're just coming to volunteer in Armenia. And they were so terrified. They're like, how do you, because we're kind of in like other countries, we're trained that this is personal space, this is boundary, this is this, like don't invade this space.
It's purely dangerous.
It's dangerous.
In New York, it's purely dangerous.
It's pure, don't do this. Do not try this at home, but maybe try it in Armenia with a group.
Try in Armenia. Talk to strangers in Armenia. That's like that's the ultimate thing here. But I remember someone in the group making. I'm pretty sure it was a joke. Maybe it was rigged or staged or whatever. But like they dropped us off in different corners of Yerevan, outside of Kentron, and they were like thousands of people we could have chose. And no one was leading us. It was just us. There was no supervision. We were like 21 years old, so it was okay. And we just like, okay, let's go to like that building. And everyone's like, that building. Okay, let's go to this one. And we literally went to the first residential door, knocked on it, didn't work. Second one, worked. It was an old man, his wife, and a baby. And like, it was just like fascinating. And since then, I've been to Armenia many times, since 2011 when that story took place with Yerevan State Internship Program through AGBU. Holler at AGBU and Birthright. You guys do amazing work.
Yeah.
It was just fascinating to see it over and over again, repeated and validated and corroborated.
Yeah. And I'm glad that it's continuing. Yeah, like every video I do, there's a shout out to Birthright in it. I'm just glad to hear that it's still continuing, and I know that they still do it at every time, like they do excursions outside of Yerevan. Well, not every excursion, but you know, the ones that are like a longer day, the multi-day excursions and whatnot. And
Right.
every single time it's the same result. We've never had any, from the time that I've worked for Birthright, we've never had any story that just went wrong or anything. So definitely not rigged, because I don't think they can rig all of that, you know, like go to every home in.
Just like
Yeah.
for the
But
very
anyway.
low return of just making sure that we have a good time. Like,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly. It's definitely not worth that investment.
But another one, do you remember it was like be in a photo with 10 people, at least 10
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
And
yeah.
we're like, how the hell do we even do this? And you know, we saw like there was a group of a bunch of older men. I think they were at a construction site. And we just went up to them, we explained it to them, and they were like, oh yes, yes. And then they like made sure they looked like nice and neat, and like they, you know, and then they took the picture, and we were like, that was way too easy. Way too easy.
Yeah.
It took like 3 minutes to do this.
You know, I want to start this experiment. I want to try it, and if it works, I'll document it and I'll put it on YouTube. Is having this little like chessboard that I have and taking it with me on the streets, and then trying to find one person that plays chess with me,
And just sit down with them.
and just sit down with them on the street and
Wait.
play it.
Wait, we should make our own like
Scavenger hunt.
scavenger hunt.
You know what we should do? We should do a scavenger hunt for people visiting Armenia for the first time, or it doesn't even matter if it's for the first time, and then make it available for them to come and then like do this challenge where,
Genius. It'd be
guys,
fascinating.
things are happening now
Yeah.
on this live.
Yeah. Oh, it could be so fun. I mean, for like the TikTok users, it could be like doing, like having one of the, a stranger in Armenia show you one of the Armenian dances.
Exactly.
You know, in public. You know,
Para says,
no matter.
Zek para vesen? YouTube vira live.
Oh, good.
Huh? I love you so. Armenia. He's a tourist.
He's probably from Iran.
From Iran, yeah.
Yeah. I'm so happy that like they're being, you know, they're having a good time here. I mean, on
Yeah.
Vartavad, they were having a ball.
Oh my God, absolutely. Vartavar was such a fun.
For the small amount that don't know Vartavad, do you want to tell them? what it
Yes,
is?
it's
Also, you
okay.
should move closer because your face is.
The
up.
it's like the sun is literally hitting. So if for those who don't know what Vartavar is, actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna plug my last video. Go watch my video of
True.
Vartavar, and in the description of the video, I have the history of what that holiday is like. But it happens every July 11th. Was it on the 11th? I think it was July 11th. And then basically there's a lot of water being dumped on you
Well,
involved.
don't say what it is.
Watch the video.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Interestingly, it's kind of like an Indian holiday, a little bit different, but the history is also kind of intertwined. But like the most fun, exciting, and the
Yeah.
whole country is involved. Like every part of Armenia,
Everybody, it's
including in Artsakh. It will happen there as well.
yeah. And I what I feel on that day is basically the whole city without, and like it's kind of like this there's so many unspoken rules with that holiday about like
Yeah.
if you have your phone or whatever, if you're eating on the street, people, you know, anyway, you guys have to watch that video to understand what's going on. I'm sure many of you have already watched it.
The
And-
first rule of Vartavad.
the first rule of exactly. And then I feel like a lot of things happen, you know how like like in school, if it's Halloween, you're allowed to not wear a uniform that day and you're allowed to wear a costume. It's like I feel that way about Vartavar because
Oh,
there's
yeah.
so many things that you're allowed to do that day in the city that
That you would-
usually you cannot do.
Yeah.
And just the whole city, the whole country comes together.
Someone called it a benevolent purge.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
yeah,
purge
yeah,
movies
yeah.
where like you basically kill
Totally.
and do all these crimes, but it's a benevolent version of that.
Totally.
And if you're really scratching your head and being like, what the hell could a benevolent purge be? Check out Patil's video, her
Yeah.
last video on Vartavar.
It's yeah, a lot of people are responding positively to that video because I think it's just such a positive thing. Meanwhile, literally
Yeah.
all I did was held my camera in a protection, waterproof, whatever case, which that's why the footage is not even that great, but people are loving it more. And I just walked on the street. So all I did is very organically just
You showed Armenia being itself.
Exactly. Like it's very minimal editing. There's not much happening and it's just like walking around, and then you guys will love it. Definitely check it out. Also, guys, since we're almost at an hour, can you guys please like this video because it really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and I'm still trying to figure that out, and there's 23 people here and only 16 likes. Thank you.
So like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
What number video is this for you?
Oh God, I don't even know. I'm doing like 3 or 4 a week at this point.
Cool.
Minimum 2 based on what's going on, my
How
health.
long ago did you start?
So basically January 1st was the first time I took the interviews I was doing on Instagram and I started uploading it on YouTube. And then March 13th, which is when I arrived to Armenia, was my first like vloggy style type
Yeah.
thing where I was like actually vlogging my flight.
These things typically go like this. So
Yeah.
you're probably right here.
Hopefully I get, oh my God, yay! Someone just sent me a sticker.
I don't even know what that means.
So basically stickers, oh my God, you're the best, thank you. I'm coming in 2 weeks, yay.
Ova?
Frank. I couldn't think the last name.
We love you, Frank.
We
whoever
love
you
you,
are.
Frank.
I'll be here. You'll be here?
I'll be here. Yeah, I'll be here probably until September or November, and even when I leave, I'm gonna come back in 3 months.
Frank, your first drink, well, I don't know if it could be your first drink, but if we meet, your first drink when we're together is on me.
Yay! And the stickers are basically these things that I've also learned because I recently monetized my channel, which is great because these things take a lot of time. You know how it is with content creations and putting all this amount of time.
Hours for a single post that, you know, even if 500 people like it, there'll be one person like, well, I don't think you should have worded it, and you're like,
Yeah, like,
what are you, like,
it's
what
not
are you doing?
Dolma, it's Dolma. It's not Dolma. Like, I don't know.
Like, come on.
So basically with the stickers, basically, if I said basically twice in 2 seconds, if people want to support the channel, they like buy me a sticker. So the sticker actually said "Keep it up,"
Aw.
and it was for like over $5, and this is amazing.
That's awesome.
Thank you, and this is how my livelihood will continue. So I can actually continue to be sustainable because it's a full-time job that doesn't really pay right now, and then I have Dadik Streetwear obviously, so I have like 2 full-time jobs.
Which, by the way, like, please check it out. And, like, almost every time I've worn Dadik streetwear outside of Armenia, there's someone who notices something. Like, for example, Chris, my best friend Chris Yaglian, was wearing one of your Artsakh masks.
Yes, I know
And
the story.
we walked up, it was like a block and a half, and just past some dude who had a music case, and the guy was like, hi, yes, and we were like, oh my God, really? Like,
It's
we
happening.
just stepped outside, and you know, we were like, how did you know? And like, I turned to Chris, and he's got the like the literal, like the Maming Babik, the Artsakh logo, and it's like, oh, obviously he knows. You know, when I wear this, I see people looking like, that's not the Superman logo. Like, and some people are like, what does that actually say? It's like, oh, it's high. Like I'm Armenian. Like, yes, I am.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's interesting. Like, who made it? It's like, oh, this Dadik Streetwear. I get like a nice little 5-minute conversation, and like also tell them about what's happening in Armenia, just because I'm wearing what you and your team have done. And
It's a conversation starter. So this one, the artist actually lives in Armenia. She's from Syria and she repatriated, and her brand is Roots Armad. And then her name is Rita, please don't fall. Rita Dik, shout out. So this is her design. So basically when you guys shop from Dadik Streetwear, based on whoever's design you're buying, you're also supporting that artist. So it's like another community that I have. I have my YouTube community.
they also have a hoodie version of this, by the way.
Yes,
right?
I also have the hat, which I was wearing in the Vartavar video. Check out the Vartavar
Oh,
video.
yeah.
I have the
Maybe
hats.
that's why I wore this.
This is one of my favorite
Subconsciously.
subconsciously. That's what I do. I wear the designs. This one says yes asangem, which means I'm like this, because I'm like this.
Oh, my favorite hoodie is the one that says Alexa, play the duduk.
Dude, I have that as a
So
t-shirt.
great. Because, you know, non-Armenians look at that and Alexa, play, and this is automatic, and the duduk, and they're like, what the hell is a duduk? And I'll play it, and they're like, I know that from Gladiator. And I'm like, yep.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, even like during the war, because this was happening where people they were working virtually, so they had a lot of Zoom meetings, and they would buy from the donation collection, and then they would wear it on their Zoom thing, and people were like, what is that? What are you wearing? That's an interesting looking sweater. And then they would tell about the war, and like they would bring international, I guess, you know, attention to what we were going through. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, I mean, I guess, you know, we never really know the true alchemy that comes from the things that we do, meaning the power beyond what we see. You know, we walk away from a connection that we make with someone, you know, and have a conversation where we educate each other. We never really know how far those things go. I don't think you did you imagine that people would identify Armenians would identify each other in a crowd in New York City, like.
Not even a little bit. Someone actually sent me a video of someone else in the airport at the airport the other day, because they were wearing one of like the Dadig sweaters, and then apparently they started talking to each other because of that.
That's
And I'm
amazing.
like, this is hilarious. And then two people actually, you know, the one that says Miara, like the Nike kind of like don't do it one
Yeah.
in that Hagop design. So two people are actually wearing that on Vartavar, which again, if you watch the Vartavar video, you'll know why it says don't do it. And then so two people tagged me. in
Wait,
their
that's
stories.
amazing. No, that's amazing.
Miara. And then they both
I
like
heard that
tagged
so
me.
many times on Vartavar.
Vartavar. So imagine those two people walking on Vartavar on the street, like they don't know each other,
Yeah.
and then they're literally both had the same idea,
So
wearing the
amazing.
same T-shirt.
two things that just don't do it. They're
Don't
like,
do it.
yeah,
Wait.
you're not about this benevolent purge. Like me
But
either.
I'm
Like,
on the
please.
street. And also shout out to Frank. Thank you for the sticker. Yay! People are sending me stickers
Yay,
now.
Frank.
I can afford to buy coffee now. Okay, I think we've been talking for an hour.
It's been a good hour.
It's been an
I feel
amazing hour.
refreshed on this 3-hour sleep.
Nice. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get an iced coffee, and then no, I'm gonna drink without iced coffee at home, and then literally go to bed and get some rest, and then go film some YouTube videos. Thank you so much, you guys. Love you so much. Love you, Jerin. Love you, Frank. Love everyone who joined. Now there's 25 likes. Look at that. It worked.
Hooray!
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll talk to you guys soon. Blaze Ken. Love you too. Are you gonna do the bye with me?
Bye.
Bye.